But coming back to Russia, Putin has a big problem on his hands, the Wagner Group. Russia's fighters turned mutineers. Their chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin, is in Belarus. His loyal fighters are following him, and this is part of the truce deal. Russia allowed Prigozhin to go to Belarus and gave the Wagner mercenaries three choices: move to Belarus with Prigozhin, join the Russian armed forces, or just walk away from all of it. Looks like a lot of them have chosen their company over their country. Take a look at this. This is a military base in Belarus, just 90 kilometers away from the capital, Minsk. It was vacant until a few days ago, but now new facilities have come up there. The Wagner Group is setting shop. To do what, you may ask? Well, no one is sure. But here's what we can tell you. They won't fight in Ukraine anymore. Russia says so. Prigozhin has refused to sign a contract with Russia's defense ministry. In fact, this is what may have triggered the mutiny in the first place.
A few days before this attempted mutiny, the Ministry of Defense announced that all formations that perform combat missions must sign a contract with the Ministry of Defense. And everyone began to implement this decision, an absolutely correct decision. Everyone except Mr. Prigozhin. Then he was informed that in this case, Wagner will not take part in the special military operation. That is, no financing, no material resources will be allocated.
So Russia says Wagner is out of the Ukraine war. Prigozhin too says they won't fight the war anymore, and Ukraine seems to believe it. The head of military intelligence has said, and I'm quoting, "The private military company, or PMC Wagner, will no longer take part in hostilities on the territory of Ukraine, and this is the most effective unit of the Russian Federation that knew how to achieve success at any cost." So Kiev too believes that Wagner is out of the picture. But their fighters haven't left the front lines yet. The U.S. confirmed that yesterday.
What I would tell you is right now, we continue to see some elements of the Wagner Group in Russian-occupied territory in Ukraine.
Ukraine says the Wagner forces are still there but not fighting. They may be preparing to join Prigozhin or the Russian army. Either way, they're out of the war. Now remember, Ukraine says Wagner fighters were the most effective. They were instrumental in Russia's capture of the city of Bakhmut recently. And if you take a closer look, it does make sense. Wagner troops have been operating in foreign lands for years. They are veterans of conflicts in Syria, Libya, and a host of African nations. They're battle-hardened, unlike the conscripts that Russia drafted. So their loss will be felt unless a new group takes their place. And that group might be the Chechen Akhmat Special Forces. Now first, a quick primer. Chechnya is a Russian territory in the Caucasian region. It is nominally under Russia, but mostly run as a private fiefdom by this man, Ramzan Kadyrov. He's a warlord with his own private army, much like Prigozhin with Wagner. Now, Kadyrov enjoys Putin's patronage, just like the Wagner chief once did. And when Prigozhin marched on Moscow, Kadyrov took action. He sent his Akhmat Brigade to Rostov and Moscow. He also vehemently denounced the Wagner chief. Earlier this week, he held a meeting with Vladimir Putin. He posted this selfie to show that he's still in the president's good books. So was this meeting about taking over the Wagner Group's responsibilities? Honestly, it's too soon to say, but there may be an issue here. You see, the Wagner Group was feared for its effectiveness. But the Chechen fighters do not enjoy that reputation. In fact, they're called the Tik Tok Brigade. They post music videos on TikTok. They have a reputation for being all talk and no work. And not without reason. When the war began last year, these TikTok fighters were on the front lines. They marched towards Kiev in the initial assault, but they reportedly suffered heavy casualties. So their commander, Ramzan Kadyrov, decided to pull them out. And the Akhmat Brigade has been on the sidelines since. Even during the Wagner mutiny, they weren't really useful. Yes, they entered Rostov, but they apparently did not fire a single bullet at the Wagner troops. And they reached Moscow only after the mutiny was aborted. You know what they did then? They released a video claiming that they were on their way to fight. But the Wagner troops had already withdrawn by then. And stunts like these make the Akhmat battalion look like a non-serious force. But they do have one thing in common with the Wagner troops: a reputation for brutality. So far, they've shown it only in Chechnya. They've carried out vicious crackdowns on Kadyrov's opponents. But on the front lines, you need more than brutality. So can these Chechen fighters replace the Wagner Group? And is that what Moscow has planned? We'll keep you posted.